tee, we go iCash skirt, little tights, black hat threes.
Alright, we go with iCash polo, iCash lace skirt on the bottoms, and we go Ed Hardy drawers.
We at the mall chat, all skirt swag, nothing else, nothing else.
Type shit.
Let me see.
Type shit. Y'all niggas be safe.
19 week maybe in a week. 5 shows made 3 maybe in a week. So now I'm looking at the beat. Too bad you can't go in the I'm
Hey, throw that motherfucker. Throw that motherfucker. Hey, throw that motherfucker.
Shout out to my people. Shout out to my people. Sending love, positivity, and good vibes to my people, man. I hope you guys are doing good today. I'm doing great. Today's video is about men wearing skirts. How do you guys feel about it? Let me know in the comments. How do you guys feel about men wearing skirts? Me, before I go off the deep end, I will say, I feel like it's important for people to be able to express themselves. I think that a big thing with fashion and style and swag, even though I really don't like that word, but, those things consist of what the hype is behind. And I don't necessarily go by that standard. For example, this is a side note. My favorite rappers, some of my favorite rappers are underground rappers. Core, Starlito, Nipsey Hussle. It's not Tupac, Biggie, and the Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying? It's Eminem. It's not the headline names that everybody puts. I like to set my standards on who I like based off of my rubric and what music means to me. To me, content, delivery, metaphors, how you make somebody feel. Can you inspire somebody? That's the main reason why I like Nipsey. Nipsey didn't come in with the most, delivering, extravagant bars. Same thing with Starlito. I like the wordplay. I like the triple entendres. So I'm using this as the metaphor. People will look at me crazy for saying Core, Starlito, and Nipsey Hussle in my top 5. But, that's my beliefs. That's my opinion. And nobody can take that from me. And I feel like a real music critic ain't going to go off of they're going to go off of, having their own rubric on how somebody impacted and helped them. That example with music is kind of the same thing when I see with your style. Your style should be your style. If you look like everybody else, what's the point of having swag and style? I base everything. Now, granted, I have my own style because in my experience in my life, I went from an all-white school to an all-black school. And then, I got back. So my style is unlike, the culture, what they think is cool. You got to keep up on the new name brands. You got to make sure everything is clean. You can't have one scuff on your shoe. You got to buy a new outfit every other week. I'm not with that. I'm going back to the basics. Plain white tee, plain black tee. I like my t-shirts a little tight because I like to show, my gains. So it's a breakdown on why I like certain things, and I know myself. I like to put on all black fit and fuck them up with like a neon pink or a neon green hat or shoe just to, catch that eye. But for the most part, I keep it simple. That's my style. I know my style. It was a point in time where I was trying to buy every single pair of shoes, every single color code. Now there's certain color codes I'm not going to really touch because now I know my style. I wanted to get, boat shoes. I wanted to get all type, every single DC. I wanted to get this. My style at first was everybody's style. Let me just, if I see something that I like, I'm going to adjust that, and that's going to be that's not a style. That's just copying from somebody else's style and trying to mash it into one big style. So, you know, growing up as a man, I'm letting go of, you know, the pinks. I still might rock a pink. You know, sometimes I feel like Cameron. I'm feeling myself. I might throw that pink on because ain't nobody going to tell me anything. But for the most part, I like to keep it simple. And I got that way the older I got. Style isn't style by what everybody else is wearing, what the hype's about. Now, don't get me wrong. There's certain, like the J's, there's certain premium J's that you need in your collection. You need the Concords. You need the Cement Fords, you know what I'm saying? You need the Band 1s. There's certain shoes that, you know, are solidified in style, but that doesn't mean, that's not the end all be all. Sometimes somebody that can really dress, they gonna put on them Asics. You feel me? They gonna put on them New Balances, and they gonna look better than the dude that's wearing the $300 pair of J's, because he know how to dress. He know how to put that shit on, and that's what I'm saying. And when it comes down to men and skirts, y'all, I just feel like we have to draw the line. We're in a place of society where men are doing any and everything to come off like a female. And the same thing, you know, with the opposite. You got females out here wanting to be like men. Our roles are changing right before our eyes. And my biggest question is, when we gonna draw the line? We seen Drake put the bops in his hair, the little brats, and the clips in his hair, the colorful, doing the duck clips, making the, and you know, Kendrick had to get him up out of here. We had to get back as a culture to the culture. We were losing ourselves with being cute, trying to fuck everybody's bitch, focused on being light-skinned, focused on trying to get all the attention, and not doing it for the culture, not doing it for the roots, not doing it for what you grew up off of and the environment you grew up in, and having morals, character, dignity. Not doing certain things, not because you can't do them, because you have a moral compass that is going to tell you it's not cool to do those things. And this is a prime example of how I feel of something that you just shouldn't do, especially out in public. This is men not knowing their role, and their image is feminine. So what are you telling the young bulls that are coming up, the young kids that look up to you? You're saying that this is okay. And it's not up for me to say if it's right or wrong. But we just got to draw the line. Like Drake with the Bretts in his hair. We had Young Thug rocking a dress. We got, you know, rappers and athletes painting their fingernails. And like I said, certain styles, like my one homie, shouts out to Rob. He that's his logo. He does my tattoos, right? And Rob gets his fingernails painted, but he's a tattoo artist, and his wife paints nails. So he gets his fingers painted because he's there to support his wife and her business, while she simultaneously, you know, they work together. They're in the same building. Their expression is art. So who am I to tell him, you know, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't support your wife. No, it's the intention behind what you do and why you do it is what I'm trying to say. If you're putting the skirt on to be seen, to get attention, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. To go viral, to get likes, to get comments. Everybody's chasing. We're on this high where everybody wants to be famous. Everybody wants to go viral. Everybody wants to go and be seen. So they're doing the most to get the attention. From mukbangs to fashion to rap. You know, now the females taking over the game. And they more expensive than the men. These celebrities, we're seeing that these celebrities aren't who they are. We idolize these people from the 90s to 2000s, 2010. We couldn't get enough of Jay-Z and Kanye just for us to see who they really are 30 years later. TDJs can go down the list. So how do you guys feel about it? Let me know in the comments. Do you guys think it's okay for men to be putting on these dresses? It just scares me because it's like, if we make this okay now, where is 5-10 years down the road? How are these kids are men going to be wearing eyelashes and makeup? I mean, technically they already are now. But our society is brainwashed to think that this stuff is cool, and it's not. And they don't know that it leads to other things. It leads to experimenting. That's how, you know, all this D-Lo and LGBT, back in the day, it was just gay. Back in the day, it was just gay guys. That's it. Now you got trans, bisexuals, and I'm not here to judge. I'm not here. I come off purely through the base of love. And I love having these interactions and these conversations because I am a man and I'll always stand on being a man. So I'm going to speak through the lens of a man. And I would like to know the lens of females, the lens of women, the lens of, you know, whatever you believe in. Because that's the only way we're going to get through these doors. If all you do is kick it with, you know, the group you're used to, how are you going to change? I know that because I went from an all-black school to an all-white school, right? The way I changed people's perspective of who black people are was I had to be that example. I had to be the exception. You know how many times I got backhanded compliments? Yeah, I don't like black people, but you are A-okay with me. And for the longest, I didn't even take that as an insult until I start seeing self-worth in myself and who I am. And I have to tell people, yo, not everybody is like that. Don't think just because of the media and what you see on the TVs. Nah, go off of real life, reality. I went to an all-white school. I probably had some of the most highest. I'm not saying I'm better than anybody, but hell, they'll tell you I had some of the best morals, character. There's certain things that people can't do around me because I'm not going to let it go. I'm not the type of person that's just going because of my morals, character, and values. We got to get back to that, making that shit cool again. Get back to, instead of taking the drugs, instead of selling the drugs, we get back to entrepreneurship, stacking this money, coming together and, you know, uniting. So I ain't about to rant. I love you guys. It's positivity, good vibes. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Coming with more heat. So make sure you guys subscribe. I love you guys. It's positivity, good vibes. Peace. We out.